Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss the chapter Profile of Indian Agriculture and Rural Development. So in this chapter, first we are going to discuss what is the meaning of this word agricultural marketing. What is the meaning of this word agricultural marketing? So let's see. Marketing of agricultural produce involves the several activities like collection of storage of agricultural goods, their transportation to marketplace, their grading and standardization and selling the product at lucrative price. This is called the agricultural marketing. That means this agricultural marketing involves what? The storage of agricultural good, their transportation to the marketplace, and also their grading and standardization and selling the product at the lucrative price. So this total thing is called the agricultural marketing. Now let's see what are the measures taken by the government to improve this agricultural marketing system. First, you see the establishment of regulated market. This is one of the first thing which you are going to see, that establishment of the regulated market. The objective of the regulated market is to make the market system transparent, to eliminate the unhealthy market practices, to reduce the market change, to enforce the use of standardized weight, and to ensure the reasonable price to both the farmers and the consumer. So that means the objective of this regulated market is to what? To make the market system transparent. And you have to ensure that the prices are both reasonable for the farmers as well as the consumers. So in this market, sales and purchases is managed by the marketing committees consisting of representative of the farmers, traders and the government that have been set up by the government. So this regulated market plays a very important role in removing the fraudulent practices on the part of the traders and in standardizing the market price. So uh, due to this regulated market, the important role of this regulated market is what? To remove all the fraudulent practices on the part of the traders, and also in standardizing the market practices. They also help the farmers in securing the fair prices for the produce. That means they have to look out that whether the farmers are getting their reasonable price or not. Next is a storage or warehousing facility. So this is also one of the important measures that is taken by the government. So storage and warehousing facilities. So the government has made an elaborate arrangement to establish the public sector warehouses through which two agencies, namely the central and the state warehousing corporation and food corporation of India. Under this scheme, the government provides subsidies on the capital cost. This scheme is implemented through NABARD. So that means both the looked after by both the central and the state warehousing corporation and also the food corporation of India. And this scheme is implemented through NABARD. Next, number 3 point is uniform standard weight. That means in government passes the standard weight and Measures Act in 1958, making the use of the government approved weight compulsory. So the metric system of weight was introduced in 1963. That means what? The government has to make a standard weight, means the standard weight is compulsory. For this system, the metric system of weight was introduced in which year? 1963. Next is grading and standardization. This is also an important thing that the government has done a lot to grade and standardize many agricultural and allied commodities such as rice, wheat, pulses, coffee, tobacco, oilseed, cotton, leather, etc. Grading of the agricultural product is done under the provision of the Agricultural Produce Act, and these graded goods are stamped with the seal of AG mark. You will see, so any standard product is marked with this stamp seal with AG mark. Next is what marketing information, that is also important. That means what the government collects weekly data on market arrivals, sale price, etc. on a regular basis. It provides these types of information to the farmers through the public media such as radio, such as television, newspapers. So the government has started a scheme of market research information network for the speedy collection and assessment of prices and market situation to the farmers. So it's a quick uh, media through which the government can easily give the information to the farmers through this media of radio, televisions, and newspaper. So through this, the farmers can easily and quickly get the news about the market situation. Next is state trading and food grains. What is this? The state trading in food grains has been introduced to centralize the movement of the food grains and also it assist the farmer in securing reasonable prices. State trading is carried out by the Food Department of Central and State Government and also by the Food Corporation of India. Next, we move on to the rural credit. So there are the different types of the rural credit. First is the productive and unproductive credit. Let's see what is this. Productive credit includes a finance taken to purchase seed. These are the productive credits, fertilizers, equipments, pesticide. It also includes the credit taken by the finance expenditure on making the permanent improvement on the land like digging of wells, fencing of land. Loans taken for this purpose can be repaid from the increased income. So these are the productive credit. Next, unproductive credit is what? The finance required to meet the various type of consumption expenditure for social and religious purposes. Social and religious purposes means such as marriage, funerals, litigation, and loans taken for the unproductive purposes do not contribute to production and cannot be easily paid back. So that is why they are called the unproductive loans. Next is short term and medium term credit. What does this say? Most farmers meet fund for short period to carry out normal agricultural operation. To meet outlay on the purchase of inputs such as seed, fertilizers, and to pay wages and also rent. The farmer is also required to meet the unproductive expenditure, that is what to meet the consumption expenditure. These are the short term loans. And medium term and long term loans is what? These are acquired fixed farm asset. Medium funds extending from 15 months to 5 years. And these funds needed to purchase what? Why this medium term form is required? Just to purchase the animals, making improvement on the land, repair of wells and implement. And the funds also used for the various unproductive purposes. And long term fund is needed for the period for more than 5 years, which may extend to the period of 15 to 20 years. So these are used for making the long term improvement on land, for undertaking the investment project which contribute the production for many years. Funds required for the purchase of expensive machine, construction of new wells and tube wells. Loans are repaid over the long period of time. So these are what? These are for these reasons the long term funds are needed. Next, we move on to what is the meaning of this non-institutional sources of credit. So it is a traditional sources of agricultural credit in India. It consists of money lenders, traders, commission agents, landlords, and relatives. So these are the what? These are the non-institutional credit. That means it is not following. It is not an institution. That means lenders, traders, commission agents. They don't follow any institutions. So that is why they are called the non-institutional sources of credit. So money lenders are what? They comprise of professional money lenders as well as non-professional agriculturists and traders come money lenders. Money lenders contribute 70% of the agricultural credit which comes down to 7%. Next, landlord and the others. Landlord, commission agents and traders also give loans to the farmers for the productive purposes against their crops. They force the farmers to sell their produce at a very low rate as a condition for granting the loans. The farmers borrow from their relatives for the short period. So in that case, the landlord, what happened? The landlord also give loans to the farmers for their productive purposes, and these farmers are forced to sell their product at a very low price. Then only the landlords will grant the loans to the farmers. Next, the reasons for the importance of non-institutional sources of credit. What are the reasons? What are the main importance? Next, you see the many money lenders and landlords are prepared to advance the loans for the productive purposes as well as for the non-productive purposes, both for the short term as well as for the long period. Next, money lenders and traders are easily accessible. Then what? They do not have any fixed working hours. Anytime if you need the money, you can go and ask for the money. Maybe in the middle of the night also you can go and ask for the money because they don't have any fixed working hours. Next is what their method of business is very simple and very flexible. They are ready to adjust the needs of the borrowers. So, next is what they do not insist any particular type of security. They are prepared to lend on the basis of the personal security. So particular security is not needed for that purpose. Only the thing is that they lend on the basis of the personal security. How do the money lenders exploit the poor farmers? So the money lenders are exploiting the poor farmers. And how they're exploiting the poor farmers, you see, first is that they charge exorbitant interest rate ranging from 24 to 50%. Next is what they take the advantage of illiteracy of the farmers and manipulate the account without the knowledge of the borrowers. The borrowers even don't know how they are being manipulated. Next was they force the borrowers to sell their produce at a very low rate. So the borrowers are sell to produce their product at a very low rate. So these are the non-institutional sources of credit. The money lenders, the landlords, the commission agents, they come under the non-institutional sources of credit. Now, institutional sources of credit. This institutional credit refers to the fund available to the farmers for various institutional, mainly for the cooperative society, for the commercial banks, state government, land development banks, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, that is NABARD. So these are all the institutional sources of credit. Next comes to the agriculture diversification in India. So what is the meaning of this word agriculture diversification? It refers to the reallocation of productive resources such as land, labor, capital and farm equipments in the agricultural sector into the new activities. There's agriculture diversification has two aspects. First is that diversification of crop rotation, that is change in cropping pattern. Next is diversification of the production activity. There's a shift of the agricultural labor workforce to the activities like what livestock, then poultry, then horticulture. That means what the agriculture diversification is applicable both to the individual farmers as well as to the different region also. Now here what happened, the individual farmers may switch over from the production of food crops like the wheat and rice, these are the food crops, to the production of commercial crops like cotton, oilseed, these are the commercial crops. So agriculture diversification means to increase the output and to generate more employment. So it provides gainful employment and increase the income in the rural areas and to overcome the poverty and also reduce the risk. Next comes the green revolution and its impact. What are the salient features of green revolution? Discuss the effects of green revolution. So here what you are saying that the features is what? First feature is what? The use of HYB seed, high yielding variety of seed, which is required regularly and adequate irrigation, fertilizers and pesticides. So these are the main feature of green revolution is that use of the HYB seed, use of the regular and adequate irrigation, then fertilizers and also pesticide. Next is what? New technology created opportunities of agriculture development through agriculture diversification, mainly wheat and rice. So there is an agriculture diversification of the food crops, basically wheat and rice. That means agriculture development through agriculture diversification. This is one of the feature. So if you need to develop the agriculture, you have to follow the agriculture diversification. Next is what? Wheat and rice farming areas has increased substantially in the states of Punjab and Haryana and also the western uh, and also the western Uttar Pradesh. That means what wheat and rice farming areas has increased substantially in the states of Punjab, also in the states of Haryana, western Uttar Pradesh. Next, we can see that due to the spectacular growth in the food grain production, the country was able to achieve the self-sufficiency in food grains. So that is the Green Revolution. Next, what are the effects of this Green Revolution? First, we see that the major achievement of the Green Revolution has been substantial rise in the food grains. And food grains production has increased substantially. This is the main impact of Green Revolution, that food grains production has increased. Next, a major achievement of Green Revolution is that India becomes self-sufficient in the production of food grains. Next is what the new technology has brought about sharp rise in the yield of land with respect to food grains. Next, due to the increase in the food grain production and productivity as a result of Green Revolution indicates the agriculture is on move. So due to this increase in the food grain, we can say that agriculture is on move. There is an increase in the agricultural sector. Next is what the modern system of farming in India resulted in decrease in land fertility, damage of environment, chemical contamination. This is reflected in the soil erosion, salination, soil contamination, genetic erosions, etc. So this is modern farming. Due to the modern farming, the productivity of the land has decreases. That there is also damage in the environment. Then excess due to the excess using of the pesticides, there's a chemical contamination. So all these have lead to what soil erosion, salination, soil contaminations, etc. Next is what? Next is then to prevent this, organic farming have come. Now, what is the meaning of this word organic farming? Organic farming does not depend on the use of manufactured fertilizers and pesticides. It is a form of agriculture that relies on the technique of crop rotation, green manure, compost, and biological pest control to maintain the soil productivity. So, this is what the farming does not depend on how on the use of manufactured fertilizers. Just it depends on what crop rotation. It depends on green manure. It depends on the pest control to maintain the soil productivity. Next, how is organic farming different from conventional agriculture? Conventional agriculture is what? Modern system of agriculture. Conventional agriculture is what? Modern system of agriculture. So, which is practiced by the farmers and promoted by the government all over the world. It is practiced by the farmers and also it is promoted by the government. The modern system of agriculture is based on the high yielding variety of seeds, chemical fertilizers, irrigation, water, pesticides, etc. So, this is how this modern farm is different from the organic farming. Now, what is the need of this organic farming? Why organic farming is so important? See, organic farming can overcome the ill effects of modern agriculture. The modern system of farming lead to ecological and environmental degradation, such as soil and genetic erosion, salination, contaminations, etc. So, just to overcome this ill effects of modern agriculture, organic farming is introduced. Next, organic farming is needed to achieve the sustainable agricultural development. Sustainable agriculture requires the quality of environment should be maintained and the natural resources should be conserved. For that reason, organic farming is very much important. Just to achieve the sustainable agricultural development. Next is what organic farming promote the consumer welfare by promoting what eco-friendly method in agriculture. Okay, next is what were the benefits of organic farming? There are several benefits. First is that protection of the environment. The first benefit is what? It ensures the protection of the environment. It improves the soil quality, better water quality. Next is what? Provision of healthy and nutritional food. That means organic farming would promote welfare of the people by providing healthy, tasty and hygienic food item with higher nutritional values. Next is what? Improvement in soil quality. Organic farming would be helpful in improving the quality of soil. Farming practices such as multiple cropping, crop rotation, organic manure, and pesticides help to maintain the soil fertility. Next was increase employment opportunities. See, organic farming requires more labor improve in the conventional farming system. Organic farming is likely to create more employment opportunities. Next is what? Inexpensive inputs. That means organic farming includes organic inputs that are cheaper than costlier inputs like HYB seed, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides. So this much for the today's class. In the next class, we are going to discuss with the different chapters on economics. So this chapter is very much important for the class 11. Those who haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe it, and thanks for watching the video.